Canada, Mark Carney wins race to replace Trudeau as Canada's prime minister. Rob, if you want to play this clip, this is the same guy that's a former Bank of England guy, governor, and World Economic Forum guy. Rob, if you can play a couple of these clips on how he says, the one clip that he says, I wish I could stand up here, talk about your accomplishments, but I don't have that much time. You know which one I'm talking about? He's giving Trudeau the clip.
This one where he talks about Donald Trump.
But play that clip. Play that clip.
Kelly, stop. I got it. Hold on.
You're going to pull it out of the thing.
Children? Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime
He's a
Minister
replacement
just
for
said,
Trudeau.
unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed.
Wow.
And we
what
won't.
a great. We cannot let him succeed. We cannot let him succeed. What other clips you got of this guy, Rob? Is this the one that he's thanking Trudeau?
No, I'm looking for that as well right now, but this is another clip of him where he talks about the tariffs from Trump and their effect on the
Let's see what
Canadian
this
economy.
one is, Rob. Go for it.
These are dark days. Dark days brought on by a country we can no longer trust.
Wow.
We are getting over the shock, but let us never forget the lessons. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to look out for each other. We need to pull together in the tough days ahead.
And then here's the final clip. I believe this is the one you were looking for.
Go for it.
Prime Minister Trudeau, my time doesn't permit me to recognize all your accomplishments.
Yeah.
So I'll speak at a higher level. You have combined strength and compassion every day as a fighter for Canada.
You have to read that off. Look at this dork. What a dork.
You have led us through some of the hardest challenges that this nation has ever faced.
He put them in.
Aid.
Rob, can you do me a favor? If you can play the clip of Trudeau crying and getting emotional, if you got that clip.
That's what I use.
If you can go to that.
I play that to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
I just have that.
Here's him.
This is after the Tearful.
On a personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs.
Liar.
And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future.
You can pause it right there, Rob. This is great because you can only take so much of this. Tom, your thoughts on this with the new president, new prime minister?
Well, first of all, it's going to be fun to watch Canadian politics all this year because the reason this guy, by the way, this guy was not elected by the people. He was elected by 89.5% of the Liberal Party that said, you're our guy, because they're still in power. And so when Fidel Castro's son resigns as prime minister and suddenly...
Allegedly.
I went there. And then you have this guy gets elected 89.5% of his party. This would be like Nancy Pelosi resigning as speaker because she had an illness or just resigned for controversy. And then, well, that doesn't change the fact that the Dems would still be in power, so they would elect a new speaker.
Yep.
Well, now October's coming, and October's coming. We're going to see this guy face off against probably, Pierre Poilievre. So that's when the next big roundup's going to happen, is the national election's going to happen. But now what Mark has had, this guy's a real globalist. He's Bank of England. There are people even in Canada that are really worried about this guy on a far deeper level, that he's really not Canada. He's really a hyper-liberal globalist. And we're going to see the parlor game play out this summer with tariffs and things that are going on. And by the way, they just stood on their little Canadian soapbox. The population of California that all lives within 100 miles, 89% of them live within 100 miles of the U.S. border, right there on the border, mainly Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. And now he's your guy, but there's a lot that's going to go on this summer, and then there'll be a big election in October. And right now, their biggest issue is they thought, with that size of country I just described, that they could put a finger in China's eye that came back with heavy tariffs back the other way. So congratulations, dude. Your first job isn't Donald Trump and 25% tariffs. Your first job is you just pissed off China.
So this is actually sort of backfiring against what we would have maybe hoped or expected to come from Canada, because Justin Trudeau's approval ratings were in the basement, 20-something%.
He actually had one?
Yeah, was it actually approved?
He steps down a couple months ago, and he sort of slides in this guy, Mark Carney. 3 months ago, Pierre Poilievre, who was expected to be the next prime minister, his Polymarket ratings for likelihood to become the next prime minister were at 90%. Now they're at 60%. This guy, Mark Carney, who was in Nowheresville, is now at 40%. What Trump has done is he's sort of revived Canadian pride. When have you seen Canadians talk tough?
Never.
In the last handful
Even
of
if
years?
they try, they can't. It doesn't.
But they're basically saying they found an enemy. Everyone needs an enemy. They found an enemy in Trump, and it's backfiring. Now, the guy that they're basically saying, anyone who's true conservatives, my friend Rich Cooper told me about this guy, Max Bernier, they're talking about him being the guy. I don't think this guy, Carney, is going to be the guy long term. He's a temporary stopgap. What did Austin Powers, the great Austin Powers, say about Carneys? He goes, "There's only two things I fear in this world. Number one, nuclear war. Number two, Carneys. Circus folk smell like cabbage." This guy, small hands, smells like cabbage. So this guy's a Carney. I think he's only there for show for a couple months, because election is happening, I think, in May, a few months away.
He's enjoying a bounce right now in the polls.
So
The actual election's October 20th of 2025.
you were way off.
But they're saying that they can call for a snap election in May.
let me just give my thoughts to the people who were not happy with what I said about Pierre Poilievre on how much of an elitist he gives me the vibes he is, and he's not going on other podcasts. And a lot of people responded back, "Who the hell do you guys think you are? You're Americans, you're this." A lot of people supported the fact that you're right, he's not. He's a World Economic Forum guy, and he's a apologist to Ukraine, recent support of Ukraine, what he's got. And then some are bringing up Max, and Max,
Bernier.
he is the conservative guy. He's the guy that some of the guys are excited about, but I don't think he can win. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Here's what I will tell you. The common thread was that politicians in Canada are afraid to talk to Americans because they're worried that the liberals will use them as hey, look at this guy. They're another person that's owned by Americans, and they're another person that's owned by this. If you're afraid to have those conversations, it just means you're not fit for the job. It means you're afraid. You're concerned. You're worried. God forbid. You're playing politics. Wear this color tie. You know how you watch these movies? What was that one movie with Zach Galifianakis with the other guy that they're running for president with Will Ferrell? Wear this tie. Wear jeans, because if you wear jeans and roll up your sleeves, it looks like you're a presidential and you relate to people, and wear this and wear that. Yeah. Be quiet. Who are you? What are you running for? Go run on that. Go run on that. If you're so worried about what the left is going to say about you, you're already not qualified enough to be the president. What are you going to do when what Russia's going to say about you, China's going to say about you, other people are going to say about you? If you're a leader, go sit down with as many people as possible. So the race is October 20th. I am so curious on how much offense Pierre is going to play between now and then. And I hope all the people that are supporters of him, if you want him to win, keep asking him on X every single day. What podcast are you going on next? What show are you going on next? Who are you talking to the people? Hold them accountable the same way we held people accountable on our side in America to get who we wanted. You as a voter got to do the same as well. It'd be interesting to see what Max is going to be doing. This would be an edge for Max. If Max decided to go on a tour and sit down with a bunch of different people, America, Canada, no matter where you are, just to talk and tell the story, Max plays that card of going to people and he doesn't. That'll be his campaign. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. You're afraid. National Book Month. And here's what we're doing for this month for March. It's funny. I had a couple book recommendations for my son I gave. Vinny, you're reading a book that's pretty insane on the way down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there's, for those of you guys that are big readers, if you haven't yet read Choose Your Enemies Wisely, The Academy, or Your Next 5 Moves, if you're a parent, you want your kids to be thinking so they can think for themselves so the educational system can't brainwash them, go to the Academy for them. Both my boys have read that book, 11, 12. I think anything above 11 is good for that book. But if you order any of these books this month, we're sending you custom bookmarks. Rob, can you show some of the custom bookmarks? That's the Valuetainment one. We have a couple other ones.
Nice.
We have the Academy one. We have the Valuetainment one. We have the What's Your Next Moves. Anybody that orders a book, we send you 3 bookmarks with any of the books. Go to vtmerch.com. All the books are signed. You can pick up any one of them you want at vtmerch.com. Get reading, folks. Get reading so you cannot be brainwashed by the people that are trying to do it to you, whether it's the mainstream media, whether it's teachers to your kids. Get yourself and your kids reading so you can be liberated. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.